Sprint Hurricane Hotline at 877-419-CBS4.
Updates are also posted on our websites, cbs4news.com, storm.herald.com, or upn33.com.
We got two things to follow tonight for you, and stay with CBS4. We're going to have updates every hour throughout the evening on Hurricane Francis and, of course, the latest election numbers on our primary.
Busy night for us here at CBS4. That does it for us. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you back here at 11 o'clock for CBS4 News Tonight and hourly during the updates. Now it's time for the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Tonight, President Bush scrambles to repair damage from his own words about the war, while his family steps in to help at the Republican convention. And here comes Arnold Schwarzenegger in his debut on the national political stage. Swept away by a tropical storm, overwhelmed and underwater after a foot of rain rushes through streets of a state capital. And would you do this for a shot at the American dream? Some immigrants are, but it may not be the opportunity they think it is.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting tonight from the Republican National Convention in New York.
Good evening from Madison Square Garden. Two of the most popular and moderate Republicans in America will be here tonight to put in good words for President Bush, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger of California, and the president's wife, First Lady Laura Bush. The governor is part of a week-long effort to put a more moderate face on the party and win over those still undecided voters, most especially women. CBS's John Roberts reports President Bush, who will appear here tonight on a live video hookup from a softball game, was out campaigning again today and trying to put out a political fire that he started.
U.S. Senator John
With one of the
McCain.
convention's opening night speakers at his side, President Bush today insisted to this group of Tennessee veterans he will succeed in the war on terror.
A war we did not start, yet one that we will win.
And just to make sure they heard it right,
Make no mistake about it. We are winning, and we will win.
it was a one-day flip-flop of his own, correcting a statement Monday that the war on terror could not be won, a misstep that yanked the president's carefully scripted convention badly off message just as he was seeking to reinforce his image as a strong leader.
He has been tested and has risen to the most important challenge of our time, and I salute him.
But if the president's stumble provided an opening for Democrats, it was a fleeting one, countered by strong Republican performances and a sharp critique of John Kerry.
John Kerry's record of inconsistent positions on combating terrorism gives us no confidence that he'll pursue such a determined, difficult course.
Tonight, Republicans will dial back on such attacks, steering the spotlight instead to a softer side of the party.
There are few women as gracious and as graceful as my mom.
The task for Laura Bush and her daughters tonight is to reach moderate women, a voting group that may decide this election. The First Lady will lay out an intensely personal view of what she calls her husband's goal to protect our country and defeat terror so that all children can grow up in a more peaceful world. And Republicans are cranking up the star power to dazzle undecideds.
I play action heroes. You guys are the true action heroes.
While Arnold Schwarzenegger's views on abortion and gay rights give conservatives palpitations, he is just the big tent image this convention wants to project. But will voters buy the sudden shift to the middle?
It may look politically cynical to that undecided or middle-of-the-road voter who's thinking, you know, I've watched your administration for the last three years. Where was this?
For the most part, conservatives appear willing to take a back seat as the public face of this convention, knowing that they'll be well served in a second Bush term. So they'll hold their noses for the next 3 nights, hoping that all of this will pay off. Dan?
John Roberts reporting down on the convention floor. Thanks. As John mentioned, Democrats did respond to the attacks made here last night on Kerry and to the Bush misspeak. The Democrats created a fast response team to do that. But CBS's Jim Axelrod reports it may be a case of too little, too late.
Stand up with our president and fight.
This week, in the war of message and messengers, it just doesn't seem like a fair fight. George Bush has some of the nation's most popular politicians, moderate Republicans.
We need George Bush now more than ever,
delivering a sweeping primetime message.
The big message is George Bush can defend us against terrorism, and John Kerry can't.
And the Democrats answer with Tom Vilsack.
The mission hasn't been accomplished.
That's the governor of Iowa, in case you didn't know.
So long as George Bush is our president, is there any doubt they will continue to hear from us?
The Republicans have America's mayor.
TikTok Cafe first.
We just really need to respond to this right away.
See if we can have signs ready.
The Democrats have a war room of staffers looking for anything to undermine him.
They took out the section that said, until we defeat global terrorism.
Let's get that going.
So when Rudy Giuliani left out the words, until we defeat global terrorism, they flooded reporters with calls, getting to CNN just in time.
And when Rudy Giuliani skipped part of a prepared line in his speech, they quickly rushed out a press release.
This is beautiful, very nice.
Really, that does seem a bit much to be getting all worked up about, 5 dropped words. But it does tell us something about what the Democrats count as a win these days. In this day and age, is there anyone who can compete with Rudy or McCain or Schwarzenegger?
The only person the Democrats have is Bill Clinton.
And he's nowhere to be found this week.
He's nowhere to be found this week.
Maybe in time-honored tradition, Democrats have conceded these 4 days and gone on vacation. But in a race this close, there's a huge risk conceding even 4 minutes. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Hurricane Francis, a potentially catastrophic storm, may be just days away from the U.S. mainland. It has winds up to 140 miles an hour, and current projections indicate it could strike somewhere between Florida and the Carolinas over the Labor Day weekend. But a jog north could take it into Virginia, just slam dunked by Tropical Storm Gaston. CBS's Cheryl Atkinson is there on the Weather Watch.
Gaston triggered a night of incredibly close calls and narrow escapes. Rescuers resorted to rubber rafts and lassos to combat a staggering rush of water. As much as 14 inches in 6 hours in central Virginia. 5 lives were lost. Evening rush hour was a mess, and morning wasn't much better. Hardest hit Richmond's historic Shockoe Bottom district.
What this was is part of a